Good morning, traders. Chris Buss here with your morning look at markets for Monday, November 9th. Okay, we've got it's 7:24 as I'm starting the video, and we just had vaccine news breaking across the wires about 10-15 minutes ago that Pfizer is reporting that they had 90% efficacy on their most recent COVID drug trial. So futures have rocketed higher in the interim, and essentially made my morning preview video obsolete as I, prepared ahead of that and before the news broke. So we are up about 125 handles on SPY or ES, and up about 1,500 points on the Dow. And of course, all the reopening back to normal trades are rocketing higher. The stay-at-home high flyers like Zoom, I just looked at it, it's down about $70 or $80 from Friday's close. So there's going to be a lot of massive variability today. I did not look at all the different sectors, but I assume travel and hospitality, airlines, hotels, travel booking sites, all that stuff is going to be a lot higher with gaps at the open to watch. And, from a trading perspective, there's going to be a lot of opportunities here. I'm not saying those gaps are going to, backfill right away. All I'm saying is when, volatility kicks up, that there'll be some nice trading ops for the nimble. So we're just going to have to kind of see how the day and the week plays out. No doubt this is positive news, and it'll just ripple through the various sectors, and we'll have to see, keep a close eye on it, see where the opportunities may lie. But let me just run through these charts, and they may or may not be of interest today, given the news. There may be other priorities, but let's just take a look. This is Sage Therapeutics. Over a year ago, they had a massive gap down on, it was either earnings or some drug news. I can't even remember, it was so long ago. And it had this big gap and then went down further. Well, it's worked its way all the way back up to this $75 gap. So as long as price stays above 75, I would expect this to eventually close the gap up here towards 150. So I like Sage on the gap fill. Ollie, premier discount retailer, has been kind of in a funk here for 5 or 6 months, but now notice within this trading range, it just executed a double bottom here at about 82.5. So, and also with bullish divergence here on the PPO, notice that at this low, PPO was here, and at this low, PPO was much higher. So there's your buying pressure under the surface. So I would alarm 95, and on a breakout above 95, I would be looking for 110, which is the measured move of this trading range. Also notice that price would have been or will be above all the moving averages, and that's a very bullish setup. I like that one if it can break out. Kirkland Lake, downtrend channel, pressing the upper edge of it. Now, this is one that's today at least probably not going to work because gold got whacked on the on the COVID vaccine news. I think it was down $30 when I looked. So we have a long gold trade on, so we may end up getting stopped out of that, or we may, just see kind of how it goes for a day or two. But regardless, set an alarm at 50. If we get a breakout above 50, I think you're going to find 58 pretty quickly, which was the prior high. But this will probably, trade down today, maybe substantially. I don't know. We'll have to take a look at it, see what the path is for gold going forward. And of course, the miners are a leveraged play on that. NTNX is a software name that's mostly been forgotten. Was a darling, back in the 2019 period, had a big gap down and then fell out of favor. But now prices emerging here above are moving back into the gap here at 25.50. So you can be long against 25. I expect this gap to get filled, or at least there's the potential for this to get filled up to 32. So you're risking 1 for the potential of 6. So that's a nice risk reward, being long against 25 and looking for a gap fill. Moving on to the indexes. These are going to be really wacky, so they're just a thumbnail estimate. In the pre-market, SPY has been trading up here around 364, 360, somewhere in that area. Of course, once we get the open, there will be a massive gap below, and who knows where they might bring it back, or they might just keep going. I have no idea. But going to be opening way above the range to new highs. Here was a prior high back here at 354, and you can zoom out to your daily or weekly charts to see exactly where that prior all-time high was, and then you can mark that on your chart in relation to this big opening we have this morning. Qs has been a lot more wild in the pre-market. First there was a big gap up, and then in the pre-market they've been fading it. So the last time I looked, price was between 302 and like 297. We'll have to see if money comes out of big tech to rush into these cyclical names on COVID vaccine hopes. Kind of looks like that, but it's very early and a lot can change by 9:30. So be open to that possibility that traders may see more opportunity in these, the beaten down names versus FANG, for instance, Apple, Amazon, all that stuff. I saw Amazon had tagged 3,400 in the pre-market and then had sold off pretty hard against that level. So, what was good on the way up, stay at home, may end up being, a liability now that there's some green shoots on the reopening trade. IWM, I just went to a weekly chart with price in the pre-market is way up here in the low 170s. So there'll be a huge gap up, taking out the prior all-time highs that were in the 170 range. These are weekly closes, of course, so that was more or less around 167.50. But now we're above that with a big gap below, and we'll see if money keeps flowing into that value/cyclical trade. I also noted that in addition to gold being down, that Treasury yields popped up like 10 basis points. So TLT is set to have a sizable red day. And if the inflation narrative gets going again, watch your TLT chart, because there are some key support levels below that may end up being violated if everybody decides, the reflation trade is balls to the wall and inflation fears pick up. That'll roll through the bond market and cause a sell-off there. So just a quick update. It's really tough to do anything definitive with this news breaking right as I'm doing the morning video. Pick your shots today. There'll be a lot of different opportunities. We're long several names. We'll have to see how our trades are affected on this news, and then we will, of course, adapt from there. And I think there's going to probably be, some opportunities on the short side potentially for some of these stay-at-home names that have been, more or less out of control the last 4 or 5 months, because we may be in a cycle now where all these different companies, drug companies, are starting to report good news on their vaccines. And even though actually getting them and distributing them, throughout the country and the world may take months and months and months and months, into the middle to the end of next year, the hope and the optimism will be apparent in the markets well before then, and we'll see, the market kind of discount the future in the sense that we're not going to be, in lockdown forever, regardless of the new cases that have been emerging. So anyways, let's wrap it up here. If you're new to the channel and like what you've heard, I'd certainly like for you to subscribe to the channel and hit that alarm bell so you get notified of my content. Also, in the show notes are a couple of links, one to the blog site where you'll see a lot of interesting and beneficial articles on trading that should be helpful to aspiring traders at all levels, along with a link to register for my content, where you'll not only receive an email on all new content that I publish, but you also get an invite to the trading room, where we'd love to have you. Got a nice little community going there, but we'd always like it to be bigger and have you involved. So I hope to see you there very soon. So let's wrap it up. Hope you have a good morning of trade. Watch that volatility. Pick your spots. Honor your stops like always. And get off to a good start this morning and a good start to your trading week. This has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. Talk to you next time.